the computer. Hey everyone, this is one of my favorite angels. That's what I call her. She's a gift. This is Joriana. We're catching up 1 year later just to see
Yes,
how are we doing and where we at and how is everything as a part of my practice. I am so happy to see you. How are
yes,
you?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Let's just kind of jump in just to give the people the scoop. So, how has your life shifted since we last spoke?
My life has done like a complete 180 since we had our session. I was experiencing a lot of shifts in my life, and since our session, I've had all these rapid changes. The way I feel about myself, the way I feel about others. I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was a year ago, and I feel like everything just keeps getting better. I feel so much lighter. I feel like I'm stepping into my purpose. I feel like I'm actually like living my purpose, honestly. I feel happy to be me,
Yeah.
and that was something that I couldn't say before our session. I
Yeah.
was always searching for something to like the reason why. Why am I feeling this way? Why do I have these fears? Why do I have this self-sabotage that I keep doing over and over again? And so whenever I had our session, it was a beautiful way for me to just reflect on past situations and how it's still affecting that current. And then even having, like, the meditation afterwards, sometimes I still listen to it to this day, and it's just something that reminds me how much I've how far I've come and how much change that I've had internally.
Yes, that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. I always want the best for my clients, but when I hear it from them, it just makes my heart blossom again and again. It's just like the
Yes.
love just grows and fills up. And I'm so happy to hear that. That's just incredible. I want you to kind of go a little bit in detail, if you can.
Mhm.
How did RTT impacted those changes, and which techniques you got from our time together that you kind of carry on, and then like because with patterns, they will repeat itself till you learn the lesson,
Yes.
right? So with certain pattern, they will arise, and when you know what to do to it, when you healed, the pattern doesn't really repeat. And even if it arises, you kind of have this power, this control over it. So I want you
Yeah.
to kind of speak about it a little bit more in detail.
I think the biggest, thing that RTT has shifted for me is, like, my relationship with myself and also my relationships with others. So, I had, like, this negative self-talk in my mind, and I had a lot of anxiety. I was always thinking the worst. I was always preparing for the worst. I was always having these thoughts of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't feel like I wanna put myself out there. I don't like, I want these things for me. I wanna be successful, but I just didn't know how to get there. And during our session, I realized that a lot of these internal thoughts that I was experiencing were projections of, past caretakers, family, friends, relationships that, you know, there was a purpose, but it just no longer served me. And it wasn't where I was trying to go in the future. And a lot of those relationships I have completely shifted. I've let go of some friendships.
Yes.
I've stopped talking to certain people in my family. There's other certain people that I went a period of not talking to, and then I, reintroduced it with boundaries and respect and self-love that I have for myself and just not accepting um, anything less than I deserve. And even like my relationship with my now wife, we were, I always joke around with her. I'm like, we were so toxic. And we've
Yes.
come such a long way. And just even having the conversations that we have with each other, we're able to express ourselves. We're not, you know, we're able to look at the bigger picture and see, how each other feels and our needs and wants and how to meet those things. And I just truly like, I had low self-esteem, low self-esteem before RTT. And
Give me
now
the number. Give me the number before RTT. If we're going from 1 to 10, what was it?
I would say a 2.
At you.
And now I would say a 9 and a 10 on a good day.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Whoa, I just got like goosebumps all over. I was
Yes.
expecting a high number, but like a 9 or 10, this is like amazing, amazing.
Yes. Like, I know I'm not exactly where I want to be fully, but I know that I'm on the way, and I know I'm on the path, and I have full faith in everything. Like, I just feel really excited. Like, I wake up every day and I'm not dreading, "Oh, I have to go to work," or, "Oh, I don't like my life." Like, I've really taken everything from that session and changed my mindset and changed my emotions. Things that used to trigger me don't trigger me anymore. My relationship with my ex, with my daughter's dad,
Yes.
he does not bother me anymore, and he doesn't even bother me anymore because he knows that it doesn't bother me anymore.
So it's not
So, like,
interesting anymore, you know?
right,
So
it's
there is
just like,
no reaction. Yeah.
yes, so, like, things have just been so much easier. I can, I used to think about my relationship with my parents and like mourn and have all this heavy grief of sadness and resentment and anger. And I don't feel that anymore. I feel so much lighter. I have gone through a tremendous amount of trauma.
Yes.
As you know, like in my
Yeah.
background, I've experienced narcissistic relationships, parents,
Yes.
romantic relationships, physical abuse from a romantic relationship. I've had sexual abuse from childhood. Um, my relationship with my sister, she molested me as a kid.
Yes.
And that was something that was extremely heavy that I held on to, and it made me feel unworthy and undeserving of love. And that was something, I held on a lot of anger and resentment to my mom for, I eventually told her what had happened when I was a teenager, but at that point, she was like, "Oh, it's not safe to talk about.
Yes.
So, I don't want CPS to get involved." So it's something that I just held inside for so long,
Mhm.
and just to be able to release it and just know that I am loved and I am whole and I am worthy
Yes.
is like an amazing thing. And I can talk about this without getting emotional, without crying, because I feel like that was an old version of me. It
Yes.
doesn't affect me now. And I feel like I'm able to really step into my purpose and help others who have gone through similar situations
Absolutely.
and feel that there is a way out and that there is hope.
Yes. Oh my God, you're such a light. I love everything you said and being so honest and sincere and vulnerable, and I commend you for it. And it's so beautiful. And it's just like I'm so grateful for you sharing your story and saying how you went through all of these horrible things. And the truth is, it doesn't take away from from you being loved, from you being fully accepted, from you being worthy. It doesn't take away from anything where previously there was that stigma. Oh, if these things happen to me, I must be different. I must be
Yeah.
not worthy. I must be something's wrong with me. This is the phrase I hear every freaking time.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
People put that label on them, and it's not their fault. It's
Mhm.
literally the effect of the circumstances, and being able to go at such a deep level, understand like, yes, this was part of my story, but this is not who I am and who I'm going to be moving forward. I'm
Yes.
not, how do I say, I'm not the prisoner of my past circumstances, right?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
don't want to be a prisoner of my past circumstances. And having that liberation from it, talk to me, what was the liberation from feeling because not enough to moving forward and getting that shift, that big shift? What was, because I want to say it, but I want you to say it because it's your story.
Yeah, of course. I just feel like I went so many years with this heavy fear, this anxiety of not feeling safe, not feeling um safe to be myself. I always was, checking my surroundings,
Yes.
reading the people that I'm around, making sure that um I can express myself.
Yes.
And so once I realized that like I was giving my power away
Mhm.
and I can call it back and be in control and set boundaries and say no, say I don't want to do that, or I don't like the way you're talking to me, or I don't accept that. And I was realizing all these things that people were saying to me, I don't have to accept it as my truth because
Yes.
I know how I'm feeling internally, and it's not matching the same frequency of these other people.
Exactly, exactly. That's incredible. I really loved our session, and it was such a powerful. So that's why I came back to you, because I knew the big shifts will happen, and they
Yeah.
did happen. And when I wrote to you, oh, it was really amazing. In that one line, you told me, this is for the first time in my life I can freely say that I'm not in the flight freeze mode anymore. And when I
Yes,
read that, I literally like tear up for a second, because
yes.
it just made me feels like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted for you.
Yeah,
You deserve to be authentic and live your truth and be who you are, because you're beautiful and people should see that beauty. And I feel like all of these past things were covering who you truly are.
it definitely was. I always say, like, whenever I go back into fight, flight, freeze because of course I'm human.
Yeah.
It's gonna continue to happen until I'm not human anymore.
Yes, you're gonna
Um,
get triggered.
right.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
gonna get triggered. I'm gonna go back to the fight, flight, freeze. But whenever I do, I'm aware of it. So I can ask, I know the safe people in my life now. I've made safe people in my life and I say, "Hey, I'm feeling dissociated. I need a hug." And so, my wife will come and hold me and just I will say exactly what I need, or I'll go and be by myself if I need to take time to, lay in bed and meditate or take some breaths. And I've even shared these experiences with my own kids. And so whenever I see my kids are dysregulated, I can help them and giving them the tools that I've learned in my toolbox. And so just knowing that my kids are going to grow up having these tools is like such a beautiful thing because they don't have to have the same experiences as me. And this is why I do what I do. This is why I did the hard work because I don't want my children to have to experience these things and figure it out for themselves. So yeah, we're all healing together, and it's such a beautiful thing. And I have even held myself accountable for the past and, let go of the guilt and the shame of being that old version of me. I grew up in a household where there was a lot of yelling and a lot of fighting. And So sometimes when I get in that fight, flight, freeze mode and, I'm running late for work, my first intention is to yell at my kids, "Hurry up, get
Let's
ready,
go,
get your
let's
shoes
go.
on." But
Yes.
then I get to work and then I feel horrible
Yeah,
and
guilty.
I feel so much shame and guilt, and I'm like, "Ugh, I hate this because this is what I experienced as a
Yeah,
kid." And I take my kids and I explain to them, "I am so sorry for yelling at you. I was just stressed out about getting to work on time. Let's try to wake up earlier and we'll have a slow morning and do what we need to do."
yeah,
But just having that accountability and being that example of showing the people in my lives, my friends, my family, this is the accountability that I have for myself, and I expect that same accountability from you.
exactly. That is super cool. That reminds me, we will yell sometime because I literally
Yeah,
lost it on Saturday, and I did exactly what you did. I wasn't late. I was just, I lost it, just like you said.
right.
And I felt horrible. I felt horrible, but this beautiful accountability. I came back the way you said, and I had the whole conversation, very calm tone. I apologized because my emotions is my responsibilities, you
Mhm,
know. And I said, I have a bad day. It is not your fault. I shouldn't have raised my voice, but I do love you. And this is an example, I said, of when your emotions get the best of you, if you are not expressing them. Then we talked about the whole thing. I took accountability, the way you said, I took my accountability for my part. And then I also told them, like, for a strong family, there are hard conversations sometimes.
mhm.
That's okay, because kids are so intelligent, they're so
Yeah,
smart, and we always some not because we want to, we go to the point of reference in our past because that's what we're aware of,
right.
and we're kind of trying to dig things here, things there, nuggets of gold, lessons, but we do realize that our kids are so intelligent and so smart, and being sincere and honest with them is the best thing you can do. And I
Yes,
love that you said, like, hey, now I can actually open up and be honest with my kids. Hey, I had a bad day. It's not your fault. I'm sorry about that. And again, set an example. Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay that you here and there you will gonna yell, you will gonna lose it. It's okay. But also taking accountability, talking about it. And also I ask them, how do you feel? And then I don't like when you do that. I said, I know, I'm so sorry. I don't like it either. I don't like myself when I do that, but I'm working on it. So this is really incredible. I feel like I could talk to you for like 3 hours.
yes,
Because
yes,
it's just like
definitely.
going. But okay, let's get back to um, what do you think people should know about RTT in general, about rapid transformational therapy? Even
The
if they
most
haven't tried it, or maybe they want to try it one time because you did it once.
Yes, of course.
What would you give them?
So RTT is really a good healing modality because it's so quick, first of all. It's called rapid for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yes,
um
90 minutes. That's all it
yeah,
takes. Yeah.
90 minutes, and within minutes, I
Yeah.
was already feeling that shift. So in my session, I had a physical purge. I was getting, hot and dizzy.
Mhm.
And after we hung up, I actually, like, purged,
Yeah.
and I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked because this is something I had not experienced before. I had done different healing modalities in the past, and I hadn't had, like, a major shift that fast.
Yes.
And so I think it's important for the clients to know that it is a rapid shift, and you have to be open and receptive to have that rapid shift. Of course, I'm sure your clients, they come to you for a reason.
Yes.
And also to know that it's not only working with the emotional body, it's also the mental body and
Yes.
the physical. It's like
Yes.
it's all connected. And just know that there's a period of integration that happens after the session,
Yes.
and, you have to do the work and you have to be open to receiving the internal guidance that you get.
Yeah.
And of course, what you provided too, you provided a beautiful meditation that you listen to days after the session, and that also is, I'm assuming, helping with the
Yeah,
integration
that
process.
absolutely. You are absolutely correct. So I had an interview yesterday with Stefan, and we also were talking about the recording. And um, the recording, it is a personalized, custom-made meditation based on the session. So it's very individualized. It's very
Mhm.
important. But what is it for? Is to sustain and support your transformation process. And in the same time, it is to give your subconscious mind new ways, right, of finding a new pattern that is actually beneficial for you, that is actually suiting for you, that is actually changing and transformative for you. So that's where the the meditation, because it is like a personalized meditation, where
Yes.
the meditation, it is such a powerful tool, um, to as humans, we are humans of habit, so we all have a pattern. And as you said, previously there was a pattern, a toxic pattern that I
Mhm.
was aware of it, right? And then we worked through it. We found out what the pattern was. We found out the thoughts. We found out the behaviors. We found out how that was expressing in your personal life and everything. When we got deep to the root of it, to the bottom of it, and we extracted, we eliminated, right? We just let it lift and
You
release
lifted it up
it.
and looked at it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we looked at it for what it was. It was painful. I don't want people to think that we're looking at flowers and rainbows.
Right.
We
Yeah.
will look at some things that are painful, but those painful things, they cannot re-hurt you. They can
Right.
redirect you. That's how I
Because
look.
there, because I just remember in our session, I was like, why do I feel like I can't fully love myself? Like, I want to love myself, but I just don't know how or why, or and so just looking at those situations in my session, they
Yeah,
were, from my past, from my childhood, everything made sense. And
yeah,
in that moment, I was able to look at it from a higher perspective, and it wasn't so painful.
yeah,
And it was like I kind of reparented myself, and I've been reparenting myself ever since our session. And I, you know, have been like, okay, this has happened to me, but that doesn't mean that it was right, or that doesn't mean that it was true,
yes,
and that, the things that people have said to me, they don't have to affect the way I think about myself or talk to myself.
yes,
And even like with your meditation, I listen to it falling asleep, but I also, whenever I'm having like a anxious day, sometimes I'll wake up and I'll have anxiety, and I'll put it on while I'm driving to work.
yes,
So then by the time I get to work, I'm grounded and I'm settled, and I just know that I have the power to
yes,
create my emotions, my behaviors, and I choose whether I allow these people to affect me or not affect me.
yes. The freedom of choice.
Yes.
Yes, that is so powerful. And that is super cool how you said, I didn't know I had the power. I thought the power was in somebody else's words or in
Mhm.
somebody else's behaviors or in their response to me.
Yeah.
And that big shift, like, no, I own the power of my life and I can choose how my reality is going to look now, from now on.
Yes, yes, because I grew up with my mom and she definitely, poor thing, she has victim mentality and I had it too.
Yes,
And, even my oldest daughter, she has it sometimes. And so we're both working on reprogramming that together and
yes,
just saying we don't have to give our power away. We can choose to feel this way or accept this situation or behavior.
yes, yes. Super cool. Super cool. What I want to say, you've done a lot of work outside me, outside our session, because I know you. You're you're a hardworking girl. I know you. You know, you always seek to learn more and understand more and just rediscover yourself, this new version of you, and falling in love with yourself. I want to ask you, after all of this time, as a if you were your own therapist, which advice would you give to your past self, right, from a year ago?
That's a good one. If I was my own therapist, what advice would I give myself?
To the past one, but after everything you have learned, right? Because you
Yes,
have learned
yes,
so much. So, what would be like the biggest takeaway or the biggest advice? Obviously,
yeah.
on the session and your work and everything.
I think just honestly stop self-abandoning yourself. I've had just situations over and over again. Like you said, you have these situations, the same energies manifesting in different types of forms, different types of people and events until you learn from them. So I think in my situation, it would be, you know, really ask yourself, do I want this?
Yes.
How does this make me feel? Does this make my body feel good? Does this make me have energy? Does this make me feel bad? Do I feel something in my stomach? Do I feel something in my chest? Does this deplete my energy? Just really becoming self-aware of the physical body because it's such an important tool to integrate your physical body because your intuition, it's not just thoughts. Your
Yes.
body also tells you. And so whenever you don't feel safe around somebody, you might start getting panic in your chest.
Yes.
And just like really listening to those signs and, choosing what to do or not to do based on that. And
Exactly.
also surrender. And I mean, that's like the hardest thing for us as humans to do
For
is
everyone, yes.
to be in surrender and to be in flow because, you don't know. Nobody knows the future. And so sometimes we just hold on to those past versions of us because out of fear,
Yes.
but you can't bring in new energies and new realities until you let go of the past because you have to make room for it.
Exactly. How is it to fully know that you let go? And as you said, when you look backwards, you don't have to cry or get depressed or get anxiety over things because horrible things did happen. We're not acknowledging that part. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm acknowledging that part. But the way you said, I don't have to be stuck in that story of feeling sad for myself. If I want to be happy and if I'm feeling sad all the time, something needs to change. How is
Hmm.
it to fully feel that self love for yourself and self acceptance? Because that was our biggest thing. How
Yes.
that feels now in your body and in your mind. And I love that you talk about the body, but we don't
Yeah.
listen to our bodies. We're so
No.
it's okay.
Disconnected.
Yeah, it's super disconnected. And especially with people with trauma, speaking for myself,
Hmm.
knowing to numb things, freeze things, right?
Yes.
Knowing to disassociate, right? Fly,
Hmm.
even though you're here, you're
Yes.
not here, right?
Mhm.
It is very hard to get back to center. And I know for myself, because I've done the work and I know how hard it is, and I know how hard it was for you as well. Comparing you today to the person a year ago, how liberating, and the self-love and the self-acceptance is manifesting now into your life?
So much. I can't, I don't even know where to start. Um, I just, I feel so energetic. I feel like heart opening. I feel like people, by me showing up as my authentic self and loving myself and accepting myself, I'm giving permission for others around me to do the same thing. And so it's just like feeding off of other people's energies just by them being in my energy and being appreciated of me and having reciprocated energy, because my old self was around a lot of people who did not reciprocate the energy that I was giving them. So I was feeling very depleted, feeling
Drain.
lower, yeah, lower emotions, sadness, anger, anxiety, fear. And I got tired of feeling that way. And I just didn't know how to step into this higher version of myself. And now, whenever I'm here, like at work, my relationships have shifted dramatically. Like I hated coming to work every day because, there was girls competing with me and I'm just not a competitive person. And for me to just love myself and just not care about what others were thinking or saying has made things so much easier for not only me, but just everybody around me.
Yes. Yeah.
And all of my relationships have shifted dramatically. My
How cool is
friendships,
that? How cool
yeah,
is that?
yeah, literally. My relationship with my wife, like I, she's night and day, and she isn't even doing the work consciously.
He's dropping off you, you know?
Yes, because I just use my voice and I say what I want and I say what I need, or even in a gentle way, I recommend things to my friends and family, and they just, I give them advice of what I've learned, and it's like I see the work that I've done in myself and others, and it's such a beautiful thing. Because me a year ago, I didn't know if I wanted to marry my wife. I didn't know that I wanted to stay at this job. I wanted to get the hell out. I wanted to leave ASAP.
Yes.
Um, I I didn't think that I would have the relationship that I have with my mom. I didn't think that I would hear, you know, her say I'm sorry for the things that have happened in my past. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a complete change in not only myself but in the people in my life. And I see this change everywhere. It's not just for myself. It's everybody that's surrounding me too.
That's incredible, because the trickle effect we were talking even before this, it is absolutely true. And the way you said, it starts within, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know I should love myself like this, but when I started, I could see it in others. I could attract more love. I could attract more acceptance. I could attract more trust,
Yeah.
more authenticity, those things that you were craving so much. And the moment you just give yourself permission and allow it, because sometimes we just block it because I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if I'm worthy or deserving of it, or
Oh
you know
yeah.
doubting ourselves, questioning. And the moment you just allow it, surrender it, right? That's
Yes.
you go on, everything shifts and everything change. And I'm so happy you had this powerful, amazing transformation.
Literally. Amazing. Amazing.
That this makes me so happy, and I think I'm just gonna be smiling for the rest of the day because that's how I am. Like I can't stop.
Yes.
It just makes me happy. It makes me happy to see you, first of all, and to see your beautiful face and to hear all these great things. And I'm eternally grateful for
Oh
you.
gosh,
For
I'm
being
eternally
such
grateful
a
for
gift,
you.
such a
Literally.
gift, and so amazing and so incredible. And you know what? I can't wait to hear for more success happening into your
Yeah,
life. And
and it's going to.
yes,
I
yes,
feel it. I feel
yes.
it.
Yes, it's going to happen. It's undeniable. If
It
this is
is.
already shifting in such a major way, I cannot wait to hear what's going to happen, a year from now. And I don't even want to imagine 5 years from now
Yeah.
how amazing your life is going to be. But it started now, and it started in such a powerful way. And I am so excited for your success. And
Yes.
I can't wait to keep in touch, honestly, and to hear more about you. So
I
thank
literally
you.
have goosebumps because I was just thinking about myself a year ago, and if I could just give myself that advice a year ago, just like telling my past self, I am okay, I am happy, I would have not believed it. I would have not believed that I would not have to feel all of these lower emotions of sadness, of grief. I felt heavy grief every day
Yeah.
from just not having the childhood that I deserved,
Yes.
and just holding on to heavy, heavy situations
Yes.
and energies within my my brain, my body, whatever it is, the science of it, I don't know, but um, I I just am amazed every day, and everybody that's around me, they're amazed too. Like my friends from high school, whenever they see me, they're like, "Oh my God, you've always been so great. Like you've been through so much and you're thriving and you've always been okay. Like everything always works out." And I always tell everybody that I meet, always trust in yourself, in God, in the universe, whatever you believe in. Always trust because everything always works out the way
Absolutely.
it's supposed to be. Even if you're having dark moments, everything always works out.
Absolutely. But that's what's beautiful, Joriana, that you went through all of this, but it didn't take away from your beauty.
Yeah, it didn't
Mhm.
turn it I didn't have a hard heart. I had all of these negative situations happen to me, way more than positive, and
Yeah.
it didn't break me.
Yes. And you
And so
won't.
no, and it's not going to, and I just wanna give anybody out there that's struggling
Yes.
motivation to keep going because things can always change. My life has shifted so much within a year, within the past 5 years. There was 5 years ago, I didn't know how I was gonna pay my bills,
Yes.
and now I'm making more money than I ever have. I mean, that doesn't really matter. Money stuff doesn't matter to me, but I'm just saying that
Yes.
I don't have to worry about the fight, flight, freeze of not being safe,
Yes.
being safe in my relationships, having my finances safe. It affects everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want to thank you. And I want to thank you for being so open and so vulnerable and so authentic. And I'm so blessed that we got to see each other and do this
Yeah.
today. And I just want to wish you all the best. And if anything ever happens, you just reach out and we fix it. And it's just a
Yeah.
magic trick, it's just a 90 minutes and we get to
Yes.
the bottom of it and we'll clear it out and it's possible. So it is possible to overcome things. It is possible to change, but most of all, it is possible to heal only if you believe. And that's
Yeah.
an amazing message, and an amazing message to know that even if you don't have faith in yourself, if you have faith in the universe.
Yeah. Even if you don't have any support system,
Yes,
because there's been times in my life where I felt like I had nobody, felt so alone, and I did the work, and all you need is yourself.
yes, yes. And keep going. Keep
Yes.
going. No matter how stuck you feel, no matter how alone you feel, that those things are real, they happen. And trust me, with COVID, loneliness been the biggest thing, and isolation. But I feel like we're surpassed those times. We're
Yes.
coming out of this iceberg time where everybody was so isolated. and we are relearning to live in a world where we can be not only one area of our life we have to thrive. I feel like, oh, if I have money, I should be grateful only for that, and that's it. You can have
Mhm.
it all, and the way you said it, I
Right.
can have it all. That means you can have it all, and if at once you didn't have it, it doesn't mean that you're never gonna have it. Just keep
Right.
going, keep
Just keep going.
pushing, move forward, get support if you can, and just keep going because it's gonna happen. Universe
Yes.
always meets you where you're at.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, how we even
Yeah.
hooked up, it was
Yeah.
like
Boom,
it
boom.
was it was made. It was
It
meant
was
to be.
meant. Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that 1,000%.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm sending you lots of love and blessings and
Yes. Yes.
miracles and joy and happiness and acceptance. And I can't wait to get back in touch with you later just to
Yes.
see how great things are.
I'm
Thank,
so excited for you.
thank you so much. I will